All right, and good evening, and welcome to the fourth annual Black Reel Awards for Television preview show. I am Tim Gordon, founder and executive director of the Black Reel Awards, and joining us tonight for this special conversation is our nominating chairperson for both the Black Reel Awards and the Black Reel Awards for Television. It is Cordell Martin. Cordell, thank you for taking out some time to sit down and let us do this, man, because this is what we do all the time. So basically, we are taking people behind the curtain as we talk about the nominees for the fourth annual Black Reel Awards, which takes place when?
They take place Thursday, August 6th.
Thank you, sir. We're going to work that timing out. We're going to get there, but that was good. That was good. All right, man. So without any further ado, I just want to lead off by asking you, in the middle of a pandemic, and I know we did a show yesterday and talked about there's been a lot of streaming that's been going on, so the world has sort of changed. How do you feel this year's crop of potential nominees in drama, comedy, television, movie, and limited series match up to what we've had in the previous 3 years?
I think this is probably one of the strongest years thus far. With returning favorites like Insecure, I think they had a strong season this year. Blackish was one of the more reliable comedies out on air. Queen Sugar, This Is Us, Pose, and All American, just to name a few.
Right.
We also had shows that ended their final seasons this year. So Power, How to Get Away with Murder, and Empire. So we'll see if the voters will give them that last hurrah.
Right.
Send-offs. And then there's a crop of new shows that I know we'll talk about a little bit later as well.
All right, man. So without any further ado, man, I think we should lead off with television, movie, and limited series, that set of nominees or categories. So let's start, man, with the bases, man. When we're talking about best television movie or limited series, who are going to be some of the players this year that you think that will get the voters' attention?
Yeah, I think just starting off will be Watchmen, HBO's limited series based on the popular graphic novel. It stars, Black Reel Awards favorite Regina King, Louis Gossett Jr., Gene Smart, and a host of others. When it premiered last fall, it was definitely one of those trendy shows that definitely brought history to the masses that a lot of people didn't know. And I think also what's going on now currently, I think it'll be one of those shows that I think will resonate with voters in terms of being showered with several nominations. Other contenders to look out for, I would say, is the Clark Sisters biopic that premiered on Lifetime. It was one of Lifetime's highest rated TV movies in about 3 or 4 years. It has a top stellar producing team with Mary J. Blige, Queen Latifah, and Missy Elliott. I thought the acting was really solid, specifically with Anjanae Ellis.
Right.
So that's one. And then a few other contenders, Little Fires Everywhere from Hulu.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington.
Oh,
yeah, that was another popular limited series that premiered right when the pandemic hit. So a lot of people were buzzing about that TV movie, limited series. And then also Hollywood, which was another popular limited series on Netflix. So it's a different version of Hollywood, more of like What If. So it's what if the first leading lady was a woman of color, then screenwriters, things like that. So you had people like Queen Latifah in there, and up and coming stars like Jeremy Pope and Laura Harrier, who I think have a strong chance of being nominated.
All right, so we've gone through 4 of these that you think that as I told you at the top, will get their attention. Let's break it down now.
Yeah.
We start talking about actor. What are you looking at? Who is going to pace the actors race in television, movie, or limited series this year?
Oh boy. When it comes to actor, I think it's a wide open race. Some contenders that I've mentioned, Jeremy Pope from Hollywood. I thought he was pretty solid in the limited series. You have Blair Underwood from Self-Made, the Madam C.J. Walker limited series.
Right.
Alano Miller from Cherish the Day, which was OWN's first foray into the limited series genre. We'll see if he gets some love. And then another contender, Andre Holland. He had a limited series called The Eddie. It was like a French musical directed by the director from
Whiplash and La La Land, Damien Chazelle.
Thank you.
And that was a Netflix limited series. So, yeah.
Well, those are your top 4 contenders. Who wins? I don't know. We'll kind of see what the voters are thinking if those are the nominees.
So we've already talked about perennial Black Reel Award favorite Regina King, who I think, I don't want to prejudice the jury, man, but come on, man. The Watchmen, she as Sister Knight, she was outstanding. And along with Anjanae Ellis, man, what other two? Because I think it's going to come down between those two. But who else should voters be looking at in the Best Actress race in television, movie, or limited series?
Yeah, I think rounding out that category, look out for Octavia Spencer. I thought she did a great job as Madam C.J. Walker. Although I felt that the overall series just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but I thought Octavia was definitely the standout in that series. Also look out for Kerry Washington, who could get 2 nominations. One for Little Fires Everywhere, one for American Son, which was the movie broadcast of her play that she did on Broadway about a year or 2 ago.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's move on, man. Are there any huge supporting players that that voters should be looking for?
I would say look out from the cast from Watchmen for supporting actor. So Louis Gossett Jr., Giovanna Peto, and oh my gosh,
Giovanna Peto was so good, man. My goodness.
Yes, and who played Mr. Manhattan? The actor is slipping my mind.
Oh, I thought that was Giovanna Peto, who played. That wasn't the same actor. Oh, I'm thinking. What is his name? My God, same brother that played in Luke Cage, Aquaman. His name escapes me, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Not Yaya.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't, and I apologize to that brother. I know I'm looking right at your face in my head, but the name, is it something Martin? Yaya Martin?
Martin. They were butchering his name. Sorry, man.
Yeah, my apologies, brother. If you home watching, it is not intentional, man. But you were great. You were great, man. So, anything else that voters need to be looking at in the television, movie, and limited series side about voting this year?
I would say in the supporting actress category, you'll definitely see a lot of new faces in that category. You'll probably see Laura Harrier from Hollywood. A few of the actresses from the Clark Sisters movie, I think, have a strong chance to be nominated, including Raven Goodwin, Christina Bell, who plays Twinkie, and Kiera Sheard, who plays her mother, Karen. Let's see who else. Lexi Underwood, who plays Kerry Washington's daughter in Little Fires Everywhere. I thought she was really good.
She was.
And then you might see someone like Uzo Aduba, who played Shirley Chisholm in the Mrs. America limited series for FX. Right. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Look, hey, we covered the bases, man, on that category or that side of the house, the television, movie, and limited series. So now I want to move on, man, to a category that has been owned by Atlanta for years, and by virtue that they didn't have a season this year, it leaves the comedy series or the comedy area wide open this year. What are, and I know I'm going to hear Insecure in a second, but outside of Insecure, who else are going to be major players in the comedy, as in series, that are going to be major players in comedy this year?
Yeah, I mean, a few other contenders, of course, Blackish. They've been nominated every single year since we've started these awards. They've never won the top award, but I'll definitely look out for them. Netflix On My Block, which was a surprise nominee last year. They might come back again. Then you have other nominees like Grownish, and then other contenders such as Black Monday, The Last OG, and then there's a crop of new series to look out for. BET Plus, they launched their streaming service. BET launched their streaming service last fall, and they had a couple of solid comedies, including First Wives Club with Jill Scott and Bigger, that was produced by Will Packer. So look out for those.
Bigger was quite the surprise. It really was. I did not anticipate that as being as well. And I know you thought it was going to be a spoiler. So I mean, you know, like I said, with Atlanta not in the race this year, that race is wide open. I know Insecure probably is the most established of the remaining shows that are in comedy. But we'll see, man. I mean, I've been surprised before with the Black Reel Awards for television. So it would not be a first. We're looking at the actor category for comedy this year. Who stands out there?
Oh boy. I think
oh boy.
Yeah, lead actor in a comedy series. I would say look out for Don Cheadle for Black Monday.
Right.
He's the reigning champ in that category. You have Deron Horton from Dear White People, Brett Gray, who's another young actor from On My Block, Anthony Anderson, who's been nominated every single year, Tracy Morgan for The Last OG. I don't think there's anyone else to look out for. I would say probably those are the top contenders.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a lot more competitive on the actress side. Issa Rae is definitely one to watch, but who could challenge her for Best Actress honors this year?
You know, I think she's the one to beat. I mean, I just don't see anyone else coming close to beating her, but look out for perennial nominees like Tracee Ellis Ross for Blackish, Logan Browning for Dear White People. You also have Zoe Kravitz, who
High Fidelity.
Yep. So look out for her. Tanisha Long, who's the lead of Bigger. She could be a spoiler nominee.
Right.
And then you also have a sketch comedy series, a Black Lady sketch show, which Issa Rae produced.
Right.
Robin Thede could also be a contender as well.
All right. So here's the fun part. I know we normally go back and forth between actor, actress, supporting actor, actress. I want to put the supporting actor on the back burner for a second because I think the supporting actress race is going to be very interesting this year. The young lady, is it Natasha Rothwell from So who else? I mean, it sounds like this is wide open. She was great and has been great all season on Insecure. Who else in that category has stood out to you in the comedy side?
I mean, Yvonne Orji as well.
Oh my God, yeah, man.
I mean, this has been a great season for her and her character arc. Jennifer Lewis, you can't bet against her. She's won this category the last 3 years. Marcy Martin, who's another favorite in that category. But then also look out for Regina Hall and Tiffany Haddish. So last year they were nominated in lead, but their studio has put them down for supporting this year. So
now Regina Hall for Black Monday and Tiffany Haddish for The Last OG.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah, I told you that's why I wanted to put the men on the back burner for a second because it looks like this is going to be stacked. Do you think that Insecure can get 2 actors in out of this group in this category?
I believe so. I mean, they did last year with both Natasha and Yvonne, so I think they can definitely do it again this year.
Man, that means that somebody's getting squeezed out if Insecure gets 2 in again.
Yep.
Wow. All right, so Best Supporting Actor. Who are we looking at on the comedy side that stood out this year?
I would say definitely look out for Kenan Thompson for Saturday Night Live. He got nominated last year, so he's definitely a contender. Lawrence Fishburne, who's been nominated every year, as well as Jay Ellis from Insecure. Yep.
Okay.
Trying to think who else.
Jay Ellis was solid as well this year, man. I mean, Insecure had a
Yeah.
really good season, man. So, and we'll get to that in a second because we didn't talk about any of the writing categories on the limited and television side, but we have enough time to do it here. So go ahead, man.
Yeah, I would say definitely Insecure for directing and writing. This, like I've been saying this entire time, is their strongest season yet, in my opinion. Um, Also, you see a rise in a lot of the variety sketch shows. So we have a Black Lady sketch show, Sherman Showcase. Netflix also had one called Astronomy Club as well, and also Southside from Comedy Central. So they might have a shot. And then also Blackish, who's been nominated in both categories the last 3 years, as well as shows like Dear White People, Black Monday, and a host of others to look out for.
So you always hear me tell you when we talk that comedy is subjective, and it's interesting to me because there's things that make me laugh that sometimes don't move the voters, man. But I think that there's certain shows that across the board people just seem to enjoy them. And we talk about Insecure, we talked about Dear White People, we talked about Blackish. I noticed what you didn't mention, and
Oh
maybe it
yeah.
was Black AF, because it's almost as if that it's the same series. One's just a little edgier than the other. Do you think that there's a scenario where the two sort of kind of cancel each other out because some voters may look at it as being the same thing? Or is one, in your opinion, better than the other?
I mean, in terms of both shows, I would say overall Blackish is the better show in my opinion. However, Black AF has definitely been one of those shows that has had a lot of buzz around it,
Right.
good or bad.
Good. I was gonna say
um,
both, but good and bad buzz.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think in terms of nominations, I think Rashida Jones, and I forgot to mention her earlier, I think she has a strong shot at a lead actress nomination. I think the episode 5, definitely look out for that for writing. I thought that was their best episode of the season. And look out for a few of those guest stars to be possible guest nominees.
And I was
Like
about to
Will
ask you
Perry.
that, man. Tyler Perry,
Yeah.
Will Packer, Tim Story,
Yep.
Ava DuVernay, Lena Waithe. Lena Waithe, and I think Tyler Perry. I'm not gonna say they have a good shot, but I thought they really put in some work in that 5th episode.
Yeah.
All
Hmm.
right. Okay, man. All right. So any other, we got a couple of minutes left to kind of digest the comedy category. Is there anything else that jumps out? Any other category we didn't name? Any other performer? Any other performance that people need to be on the lookout for?
Well, I mean, since we're talking about Kenya Barris, I mean, he also has Grownish, which has been nominated for comedy series the last 2 years. And also Yara Shahidi was singled out for her performance. Then also this past fall, he had Mixed Dish. So that could be another freshman series that breaks through with key nominations this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, I mean, I think every year we sit down and internally have these conversations about what we think is a strong year. And no disrespect to our movie side, but the television awards have always been competitive to me from day one to now. That you've got there's so much diversity. It's spread across major networks, streaming services. It's just everywhere, man. So it's really, really, really interesting place to be right now. All right, man. So that brings me to the category that I really wanted to talk about, which is why I saved it for last, which is the drama category. And this year, all the perennial favorites are back. Whether it's Queen Sugar, whether it's This Is Us. Last year's reigning champ, I think, was Black Lightning. Is back this year. Talk to me
It was
about
actually
this. Was it last year or the year before
Yep,
last?
this was last year, and
It
then
was
Black
last year.
Lightning was 2018.
Okay. So let's talk about the strength of drama, because you've got some new series in like All Rise and For Life and some other things that have been introduced. So talk to me about the strength of some of the shows that you think are going to be there that voters will be looking at for top drama spots this year.
Yeah, like we've been mentioning, I mean, drama is going to be super competitive, I think, in all the key categories. As we mentioned, returning shows such as Queen Sugar, This Is Us, Pose, All American, and Black Lightning. Definitely are strong contenders. You also have shows like Westworld, it's back. They just ended their third season. So Jeffrey Wright and then former Black Reel Award TV winner Danny Newton will be back in the fold for
Wow.
nominations. Let's see what else. The Good Fight, CBS All Access, one of my favorite shows. Unfortunately, I don't know if many people watch the series just because it's on CBS streaming. That's not as as popular as other streaming services right now. But if so, I'm hoping voters take a look at that as a well-written and acted show. And as we mentioned, I mean, a series of new series this year with For Life, All Rise, David Makes Man, Euphoria,
Mm.
Godfather Harlem. Man, I can keep going on. What else?
Wow. It sounds like it's going to be interesting this year because what my gut is telling me, and I don't know this for sure, that the Queen Sugars, This Is Us, I think those two are safe because they're both solid. I think
Mhm.
that it's going to be very interesting because you also didn't mention that it was the final year of Power. We mentioned it at the top, the final year of Power, the
Yep.
final year of Empire. I think there's a lot of, I'm not sure how much buzz around Power there is. And since it's the last year and Power has been nominated once for top drama series. I know at least once.
Yep. Yep. It was one.
So it's going to be interesting. I really, really like All Rise a lot. And I thought Simone Missick and the writers of that show did an amazing job. And For Life as well, I thought was super strong. So, like I said, I am anxious to see how drama is going to play itself out. So we got about 7 minutes, Cordell. So who are our contenders instead of us going back and forth between
Mhm.
supporting actor, actress, actor, and actress? Let's just talk about some of the standout people that folks should be looking for no matter what the category in acting is this year.
Yeah. One show I forgot to mention as I'm looking at my notes is Snowfall.
Oh,
I thought
another really
Snow.
strong season.
Yeah. Their third season was their best season thus far. I'm hoping that it breaks through in a major way this year with major nominations. So look out for that.
And
In terms of
did enough people watch All American this year?
I think so. I mean, I think with All American,
Right.
also with it now being on Netflix, I think a lot of people are able to catch up on the entire season. Um, so we'll see.
They're gonna be fighting, man. It's gonna be tight. But go ahead, man. So break it down.
Yeah, so some standout performances. I mean, an actor, look out for Sterling K. Brown. I think he's the one to beat. He's been consistent since day one on that show. Um, Other people to look out for in there, Forrest Whitaker, who I thought did a great job in Godfather Harlem. Um, Billy Porter for Pose, who won last year. He can stand as threat to Sterling K. Brown. And then you have the newcomers from David Makes Man and the lead actor from Snowfall, whose name is escaping me right now, but
Oh, is it Damon Idris?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I always get it confused whether it's got to be Damon Idris because I know about Idris Elba, so I always make sure never to flip those names. Don't forget about Kelvin Harrison Jr., who was in the last Godfather Harlem or the Godfather Harlem. You see, we're messing these names up. Last Godfather, last this, last OG. Yes, the Godfather of Harlem. Yeah, man, this is gonna be tight, man. I mean, the Queen Sugar Crew always represents, man. Including Regina Wesley. Am I correct in saying that she's won this thing 3 years in a row as top actress in drama?
Yep.
Is there any chance that somebody else is finally going to dethrone her this year?
I mean, We'll see. I think her co-star, Dawn Lynn Gardner, has also put in great work. Hopefully she gets some recognition soon. A surprise was Zendaya for Euphoria. With her being a former Disney star, I
Right.
think the pressure was on her. She could deliver something that was more mature than what she previously has done. And I thought she did an amazing job. Then you have Angela Bassett, who's always solid for 911. Simone Missick, that you mentioned, for
Wow.
All Rise. Um, I mean, that's just to name a few right there.
I mean, and I think part of, you and I over the years have had these conversations that I remember maybe it was a year or two ago, we going through this before we made the announcement. And like both of us was like, whoa, how'd that happen? Ooh. So Queen Sugar, to my surprise, has never won. And I think that Queen Sugar, despite the fact that they've been nominated, now they've been nominated every year, am I correct?
No, they were nominated the first 2 years, but last year was surprisingly
which
snubbed.
which was the shocker last year.
Yeah.
So I thought that Queen Sugar came back with their strongest season. I thought that the whole story arc with Nova and the book and how all these pieces kind of were all spread out and how the writers kind of engineered it back together by the end of the season. I thought Queen Sugar was absolutely fantastic last year, but This Is Us is solid every year as well, man. And the folks that work on that show, there's no let up, especially with the solid work, as you said, of
Sterling,
uh, huh?
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown and Susan Kelechi Watson, man. I mean, they knock it out the park every year on that show, anchoring it. Felicia Rashad has been on and has put in some quality work. So I'm just really interested because there's so many different shows that we like, but it's not about what we like. We're just trying to project what the direction that the voters are gonna go. And drama is always hard. I mean, if we thought comedy was tough, drama it's a knockdown drag out because
Yeah,
there's so many quality shows that are out there.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So we got a couple of minutes left, man. So any thoughts, man? I mean, we there's certain people that we've grown accustomed to seeing in the limelight year in and year out. Regina Wesley
Mhm.
always seems to win in her category. Regina King, whether it's the Black Reel Awards or the Black Reel Awards for television, she's money every time her name is on the ballot. But it works because she's a super actress. I mean, she has come a
Yeah.
long way from little Brenda Jenkins on 227 to where she is now. And I'm telling you, I know we talked about her earlier in the show, but I could not believe how effective she was in the Watchmen. So I'm really looking out for her in that area. Is there anybody you're thinking of who's going to be, like they used to use the phrase in the NFL, a stone cold lock? Who's a stone cold lock for the Black Reel Awards for television this year?
I mean, as we've been talking about, Regina King, Watchmen, I just think that they're going to do extremely well with the nominations and in terms of wins as well. Um, that's the only series that I can really confidently say is going to do great. Both
And you
nominations.
know what will happen is she won't win. And we'll be
I
like,
know.
how did that happen?
I know. I mean,
What happened?
she does have some stiff competition.
Right.
Many people loved Anjanae Ellis for the
Mm-hmm.
Clark sisters, or Kerry Washington for Little Fires Everywhere. So,
Man.
and I mean, plus those are more recent shows that premiered, and Watchmen came out in the fall. So maybe voters might have those as the top of mind pick. So I don't know. We'll see how this all unfolds when the nominations come out June 18th.
June 18th, man. All right. So we'll have more information online, either at, one of the social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And in addition to that, we got about a minute to go. So I just want to publicly say one more time, Cordell Martin, you have done an amazing job
Thank you.
anchoring a lot of this, you and your team putting this thing together year in and year out. Tell the people one more time when we're going to be announcing nominations and the actual date of the 4th annual Black Reel Awards for television.
Yeah, so the nominees will be announced Thursday, June 18th, and the winners will be announced Thursday, August 6th.
All right, so brother, I appreciate your time. Thank you for the preview. And voting starts tomorrow. Good luck to all the potential nominees on the road to Black Reel Award Gold. All right, bro. You take care, man. We'll talk soon, man. Bye.